So here we are. It's 2 days after the quake. Sorry, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days after the quake. So we are the 10th of March today.
Yep.
Outside of the Knox Presbyterian Church on the corner of Beeley Ave and Victoria Street. The soldiers are still manning the barricades. There's traffic's all going around the city. And so where were you on the 12:51 p.m. on the 22nd of February 2011?
Well, I have an inner city apartment in Latimer Square.
Oh wow.
And I was on the 3rd floor. I had just come home and I was going to make myself a sandwich and then go back to my office, which, as I said before, was on in Forsyth Bar. And I sat down on my couch to watch the last part of the news, and I'd only just sat down and the whole thing just went berserk. And I was thrown around the apartment like a paperweight, and everything in the apartment was thrown into the centre. With force that is hard to even imagine, to be honest. And I went down the fire escape, and my mind went back to the very first earthquake here in September the 4th. I was on the 6th floor. The one after Boxing Day I was on the 4th floor, and this one I was on the 3rd floor. So the next one I hope to be at ground level. Because it's not much fun being thrown around. You have no control. And you see heavy objects being thrown through the air, and unless you've been there and seen it, you can't imagine the force. It's just absolutely incredible. So that's where I was. And I came down and I came out into Latimer Square, and then I could see the CTV building where it had fallen.
It had already fallen at that stage,
it had fallen at that stage, and I could see the lovely old Canterbury club had also caved in, and there must have been, I suspect, maybe a couple of thousand people already in the square on the grass.
They converged.
They had just come.
Oh, in Latimer Square.
In Latimer Square.
Right.
And it was amazing, really, because over the top of them, like a big curtain, was all the dust, were just quietly coming down.
Wow.
And settling over. It was incredible.
How many minutes after the quake would that have been?
That would have been quarter of an hour. Absolute tops.
Yeah.
But people came from everywhere. It was just that seemed to be the place to go. And the big oak trees around the outside of the square were just swaying like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the aftershocks.
Yes.
Yep.
So an amazing thing.
So what did you do when you got down to the square and
helped a few people.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I have a sister here in St Albans, and I couldn't get it on the telephone, so I went back to my apartment and went down.
You went back upstairs? No, down to the basement. Yeah.
Down to the basement, drove my car out, and then up the grass street, which was like that.
And you could actually you could actually pull onto the street. There wasn't too much traffic already.
There was a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
A journey that would normally take 5 minutes took 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours from Latimer Square in downtown Christchurch to St Albans, which is the first suburb north.
Absolutely.
So basically, we're talking a kilometre, 2 kilometres at the most.
Yep, absolute tops.
Took you 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
So you could have walked it several times.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
People were exiting the city by foot, and I've never seen so many people walking. Yes, just walking away, and in a real hurry, because no one really knew where they were going except getting out of the city.
Right.
And already at that stage, coming down Madras Street, there would have been a foot of water from the obviously everything opened up and just water came from all over.
Was it liquefaction or water mains, do you reckon?
I reckon it was a bit of both,
to be
honest. There was a lot of liquefaction, obviously, which wasn't there with the first earthquake.
Right.
It wasn't in the centre of town, but it was this time. So it came from everywhere.
I understand that St Albans got quite badly hit with liquefaction in the first quake.
Yes.
How did your sister's place get on this time?
It was there. It was worse in some streets. It's actually hard to sort of imagine. It was almost surreal because you could look at one side of a house and it was normality. Look on the other side and a little liquefaction and the stuff. So it's hard to imagine. As you know, you've just got to be there to see it. Because when people tell you, they really, it's quite surreal. And then nothing like the eastern suburbs. So if you haven't been over there, you've got to go and have a look. And the scale of which you think this is bad, but then you see property damage, and then you see the damage to the roads.
So you've been over to the eastern suburbs then?
Yes, I have. Yes.
What have you seen over there?
Very distressed people. people walking around talking to you but not talking to you. I haven't had any experience with people with drugs, but they're looking at you, but they're looking through you. Shell shock.
Okay.
What do we do next? What's the point? So there's going to be a lot of people, not just physically but mentally hurt, scarred forever. It'll change Christchurch, change the people, but they'll come back again. You're obviously not from